Roddy Ricch, the mainstream fall off. I'm going to explain to you guys what exactly happened with him. Now, if we go all the way down here, his first real song that blew up was Die Young, which came out July of 2018. Okay, cool. Then he dropped an album, which was Feed the Streets 2. And that album came out November 2018. And he does have some real big hit songs from here, like Die Young. He's got the Day One outro. He's got Every Season. He's got Down Below. Like, a few of these songs very well did blow up. And then things really started to pick up for him. When he started getting more attention, started collabing with big artists, as you see with Gunna and A Boogie. And this was in October 2019, November 2019. But here's the thing. He dropped Feed the Streets 2 in November, then 7 months later dropped a single. Okay, I guess he dropped an album, he can't take some time off, that's reasonable. And then he dropped Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial, his biggest and arguably best project to date. A lot of hit songs on here. And he dropped this December 2019, which leads us right into 2020. And 2020, he had it. He was running the game in 2020. TikTok, he had it in a chokehold. And you think he would capitalize on this, right? But no. He took all of 2020 off and dropped late at night in June of 2021. And I get it. Enjoy your money, enjoy your fame. But the music industry, it keeps moving no matter what. Okay, if you don't drop, you're going to be forgotten about. No matter how many hit songs you have. And since Roddy didn't really take that time to drop consistently and build up a solid fan base for him to fall back on, once he stopped dropping, people really stopped caring about him. Like, people just forgot he existed. Especially with all the stuff that was happening in 2020, all the new artists we got blowing up. I'm going to talk about another artist that blew up a lot in 2020. And I'm going to show you exactly what he did and exactly what Roddy Ricch should have done to capitalize. He dropped Late at Night a year and a half after his successful album. Horrible, horrible plan. And then he dropped another album 6 months later, which was not well received at all. I mean, people liked it, but it was just okay. Like, a lot of features here, and he still couldn't do that well. They dropped, I guess, an EP here, or a mixtape with 3 singles. Dropped some singles, and then he dropped Feed the Streets 3 in November. And I actually liked this album, but no one cared about it. He lost all that mainstream appeal. I mean, he didn't take advantage of his success in 2020. He had 2020 in a chokehold and just didn't capitalize on it. That's why he fell off. It's not like he got worse over time. He just forgot to drop, I guess, or just refused to drop. Now here, I'm going to show you another artist who blew up a lot in 2020 and in the years before. Some say he also fell off, but that's because he hasn't been dropping, just like Roddy Ricch. Now let's study Polo G here, who is my personal favorite artist. He came out the gate with an album, or a mixtape or EP, whatever you want to call it. And this was in May 2018. Like, people liked it, but it was not the good quality. He dropped his hit song, Gang With Me, in July 2018. Now, consistency is key here. He dropped 2 months after his album. That is a very good consistency. Then he dropped Hollywood in October 2018. Finer Things was what set him up. That was the song that really propelled him into superstardom. That was his first real big hit. He dropped that October 2018. Keep that in mind. Then, January 31st, 2019, he dropped Pop Out with Lil TJ on it. Another very big hit. It did even better than Finer Things did. You know, went viral on TikTok. And then he capitalized all 2019. Dropped Battle Cry a month after that. Then dropped a week later with Miss Cap a Lot. Then he dropped Die a Legend. People say this is his best album. He dropped it May 2019. He dropped this only 4 months after his hit song Pop Out. That's how you capitalize on your fame. After that, he dropped only 4 months later again with Heartless, another hit song. And then he dropped in February 2020 with Go Stupid. And then D&D did not do as well as the others, but he dropped that soon after. And then in May of 2020, he dropped The GOAT. Like, see what I'm saying here? He blew up outside of 2020, got his name out there, then capitalized on it by dropping consistently through 2020. This is what Roddy Ricch should have done. So when Polo did eventually stop dropping consistently, he still had his fans to back him up. Because he took the time to drop albums and drop singles to build up his fan base. People like Polo G, they don't like his songs. Roddy Ricch is the opposite. They like Every Season, they like Die Young, they like The Box, but they don't like Roddy Ricch. They're not going to check to see what you're doing every single week. With Polo, they are, because he took the time to build up his fan base instead of just dropping a few good songs. Like, there's a difference. He dropped The GOAT in May, which I personally think is his best album. And then, only 4 months later, he dropped Epidemic. Consistency here is the thing that kept Polo in the mainstream attention. In January, he dropped GNF, which I personally think is his worst song. Polo trying to sound like something he's not. And then, Rap Star, the leak blew up on TikTok, and he dropped it immediately. Now, I know there was a Roddy Ricch leak that blew up on TikTok for a while in 2020. He just didn't drop it. Again, another fuck up on Roddy's part. April 2021 here. Then the next month, he dropped Gang Gang with Lil Wayne. Got a big artist on this song. They made a great song together, which got people hyped for Hall of Fame, which he dropped a month after that. Consistency is the key. Now, people say this is his worst album, and I agree, but it is still a very good album. It was definitely overhated when it first dropped. But yes, he dropped Hall of Fame in June 2021. Then he dropped November 2021. Only 5 months later, he dropped another album, Hall of Fame 2.0, which is better than Hall of Fame. I'm pretty sure I have every single song liked on here except for one. And then, going into the new year, he did not drop for a long time, 6 months, which I believe was his longest break in his entire career. In his 4-year career at this point, 6 months was his longest time without dropping. Then he dropped Distraction, and people liked it. Alright? It wasn't that well received because he hasn't dropped, and of course, people will forget about him. But since he has so many diehard fans, because he put in the work in the past, he still was able to remain relevant and do decent numbers on Distraction. And then once he dropped Distraction, he dropped Bag Talk. 5 months later, again, another big break, but Bag Talk was not that well received from Polo. And then he dropped My All, and people were very disappointed that he did not drop an album in 2022 because he dropped an album every single year of his career so far. And My All was very decently well received, but he would not like it that much. Then he dropped No Time Wasted with Future in February. And now he's dropped Barely Holding On around 6 months later. So yes, Polo was doing very well, doing very consistent numbers, building a massive fan base until he decided to stop dropping. I mean, he only dropped 3 songs in all of 2022. And he dropped 2 songs this year. And then he might drop an album September 15th. Who knows at this point since he got arrested. But Polo is what Roddy Ricch should have been. If Roddy Ricch had Polo G's consistency, he'd be running the game right now. But Roddy decided to take so much time off and then deliver something that wasn't even better than his previous work. And that's the thing that really killed his career. He took over a year and a half off just to deliver something that people did not like. I mean, There's pretty much no coming back from that in music. He's got to drop something even better than Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial. And then he might have to drop another good album after that, like a couple months after that, to be able to fully recover here. But yes, that is the fall off of Roddy Ricch. Why I believe it happened, and what he should have done differently. But yes, Polo G is a perfect example of how to capitalize on your fame, and Roddy Ricch is a perfect example of what not to do. And they only blew up around a year apart, so they're very good comparisons for each other.